Greetings again, and welcome to More Hymn Stories, number 43, I Would Be True. I would be true, for there are those who trust me. I would be pure, for there are those who care. I would be strong, for there is much to suffer. I would be brave, for there is much to dare. I would be brave, for there is much to dare. I would be friend of all the foe, the friendless. I would be constantly in touch with God. I would be tuned to hear his slightest whisper. I would look up and laugh and love and lift. I would look up and laugh and love and lift. I would be prayerful through each busy moment. I would be giving and forget the gift. I would be humble, for I know my weakness. I would have faith to keep the path Christ trod. I would have faith to keep the path Christ trod. I would be true. The author is Howard A. Walter, from 1883 to 1918. The composer for the musical score is Joseph Yates Peake, 1843 to 1911. The tune name is To Peake, and the meter reading is 1110.1110. The scripture reading for this hymn story is from Psalm 119, verse 30. I have chosen the way of truth. Thy judgments have I laid before me. I Would Be True, written by a young man in his early 20s, has proven to be one of the most appealing hymns for young people ever written to this present time. The author, Howard A. Walter, went to Japan in 1906 to spend a year teaching English to the Waseda University. It was his desire to write a statement of his philosophy of life to share with his mother back home. Howard titled the first 3 stanzas of his poem, My Creed. Mrs. Henry Walter, greatly impressed and pleased with her son's convictions, sent a copy of the poem to Harper's Magazine, where it was published in the May 1907 issue. During the summer of 1909, Howard Walter showed his My Creed text to an itinerant Methodist lay preacher, Joseph Yates Peake. Although Peake possessed no technical expertise in music, he immediately began whistling a tune for the words. Peake, in turn, contacted a friend, Grant Colfax Tuller, an accomplished organist and well-known songwriter, who notated and harmonized the music in its present form. The 4th stanza of this hymn was not added by Howard Walter until several years later. Howard Arnold Walter was born on August 19, 1883, in New Breton, Connecticut. He was graduated with honors from Princeton University in 1905. This was followed by his teaching experience at Waseda University of Tokyo, Japan. Returning to the United States, Walter prepared for the ministry at Harvard Seminary and was ordained by the Congregational Church denomination, serving as an assistant minister at the Asylum Hill Congregational Church in Hartford, Connecticut for 3 years. In 1913, he joined the executive staff of the YMCA and left for Lahore, India, to teach and reach the Mohammedan students there. In 1918, during a severe influenza epidemic, the dynamic life of this young man came to an abrupt end. Howard Walter's life has often been cited as an outstanding example of his own earlier creedal statement. Harvard Seminary has placed Howard A. Walter's name on its honor roll, where it may still be seen today. In his home church, the First Congregational Church of Christ in New Britain, Connecticut, a memorial tablet was placed on February 14, 1926, on which the first two stanzas of this hymn text are inscribed. The author of the music, Joseph Yates Peak, was born on February 27, 1843, in Schenectady, New York. After achieving considerable success as a florist, he became an itinerant Methodist preacher in 1904 and did considerable traveling through this country. Although he had no formal musical training, he maintained a keen interest in music throughout his life, playing the violin, banjo, and piano. Less than 2 months before his death on March 17, 1911, Joseph Peak realized his lifelong ambition of becoming a fully ordained Methodist preacher. Grant Colfax Tuller, who assisted Peak in notating and harmonizing this music, is also the composer for the well-known gospel song, Face to Face. Hopefully you enjoyed this More Hymn Stories number 43, I Would Be True. And hopefully you look forward to seeing me in More Hymn Stories number 44, In Jesus. Until then, have a nice and blessed day, and we'll see you again in the next episode of More Hymn Stories. Bye for now.